just blend the indoors and the outdoors, but also create a bigger social gathering space for friends and family members. And most importantly, also their kids' friends, because they want their kids' friends to come over.
Yeah.
They want everybody. Midlifers just want everybody to be at their house. Sounds exhausting, but okay. Hey everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Andrew.
And we're the Midlife Guys. So today, we're going to talk about what midlife summer looks like. What are our goals during the summer months? But before we start, I want to share a recent TikTok video that got my attention and the attention of a lot of fellow midlifers as I came across this as I was doing research for today's episode. 7th grade teacher Shane Frakes, username 7th grade Chronicles, recently polled his students to ask them what they thought 40-year-olds did for fun. The answers left me howling. Yes, here are the responses. Are you ready?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm worried what a 7th grader thinks.
Number 1, play Wordle. Well, I love that. Number 2 is watch TV in black and white.
Obviously.
Number 3, go gamble. Then spoiling all their grandchildren or nieces and nephews playing pickleball.
Wait, sorry, hang on. Did you say grandchildren or children?
Grandchildren.
They're 40-year-olds have grandchildren. Okay, good to know. Grandchildren.
You never know.
There you go.
Playing pickleball because it's a sport that doesn't move as much. Counting coupons.
We did an episode around that.
We didn't talk about counting coupons.
Not counting coupons, that's true.
Going on Facebook, going and buying home decor, grilling food on Sundays, saying no to everything I ask for. That definitely sounds like a 7th grader. Bingo. Taking their medicine, knitting, playing golf, and sitting in a chair on the patio yelling, "Get off my lawn."
Okay, that could be fun, maybe. I haven't tried that one yet. But what?
I mean,
can I just
some of these sounded pretty good to me because I love grilling out and playing golf. I can't say that I really count coupons, but who am I to judge?
Oh, man, I'm like crying. I'm laughing.
I know. Thank goodness for the honesty of young people. Life would be far more boring without them.
It's true. Oh, the youngins. Yeah. I just want to point out that they equate black and white TV and Facebook together, which I find very funny. It's like
something
basically
else.
The same thing.
I don't even know where they would have gotten that from. How would they even seen black and white television?
Because they think we're old. Very, very old.
So. I guess so.
Oh, boy.
But speaking of honesty, we're going to take an honest look how midlifers spend their summer vacations because it's interesting. According to Cynthia Pong with Embrace Change Consulting, tens of millions of midlifers often set ambitious goals for the summer, but never follow through on any of those goals. Why? Why is that the case? How can we change that? Andrew, are you ready to discuss how we can change that in midlife summer?
I am. Let's talk about it and talk about all the old things that we want to do.
Yes. So we talked about summer camps on last week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
If you not listened to that, be sure you go back and listen to it. It's a good one. But summer continues to have a special place in everyone's psyche. The promise of longer days, warmer temperatures, and the ability to spend more time with family and friends triggers something in everyone that brings up a host of feelings from nostalgia to excitement. So what is it that midlifers hope to accomplish during the summer months? Well, we can break it down into 4 categories. Here they are: health and wellness, home and organization, going back to home decor shopping.
Just going to say that you could get some home decor in there.
Reconnection and experiences, personal growth and fun. So let's tackle the health and wellness part first. One of the big things that midlifers want to do during the summer is to move away from isolated workouts to more social activities, including hiking, group classes, and fucking pickleball. So the 7th graders were right.
Is that a big midlife thing? Pickleball?
Apparently
I don't do
is.
pickleball. Huh. All right, we got to try that out. Yeah.
I guess you're just too young in your 40s. Maybe this
I guess so for
maybe
pickleball.
We have to cross over to 45 or something where pickleball becomes interesting.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm getting sore enough. I might need to go do pickleball. Don't have to move as much.
Damn, 7th graders were right. The midlifers want pickleball.
Oh, the pickleball.
Midlifers want to stay active, but they also want to socialize when they're doing it. So we've kind of talked about that before, but summer is like when it really gets supercharged. They want to be with their friends. They want to be with their families while they're doing outdoorsy, exercisey stuff. But in terms of this category as a whole, I'm going to place a particular big emphasis on the word wellness, because it's not just about being active, it's also recharging. Midlifers also want to do things like just hang out at the pool with friends and family, just to chill. They don't want to necessarily do anything. They just want to chill or read a book. So, Andrew, does this sound like you? Do you want to do these things?
It does, actually. Yeah, it does sound a lot like me. I think there is something particular about the summer. I don't know off the top of my head, but I know there have been like studies and whatnot that have been done on this. But, with longer days, you have more sunlight, warmer temperatures. I feel like you're just drawn to be outside more. And when you're outside, I feel like, at least for me, I want to be around other people. And winter, sometimes you feel like you have to go in like hibernation mode or something, right? We talked about that back in an episode in the winter about creating cozy spaces in your house, like kind of hunker down for winter. And now I feel like we're through that. And now it's time to go out, be more active, socialize more, get that interaction that I think a lot of us are craving. And I think the summer is really a perfect time for that, especially with the great weather. And, the idea of like doing this in groups too, I think is kind of interesting. Something I hadn't really thought about before, but sort of tracks with that is I do a weekly group fitness class on Fridays. And it's interesting. The class gets a lot more people in it in the late spring through summer. And I hadn't really thought a ton about why, other than I thought maybe people's schedules get more flexible. But I wonder if some of it's also this sense of, again, wanting to be around other people. And that class also, because it happens in the morning before it gets too hot, a lot of times in the summer, it'll be done outside as well. And I think that's probably a draw for people as well, because you get to be outdoors, kind of experience nature and be fit and, work out around other people. So at least in my life, I definitely think there is some truth to that, or I certainly see that idea of wellness in the summertime and wanting to do it with groups of people. And I think the pool is another great example of that, right? You had brought that up of just relaxing at the pool. I mean, I love the pool. I know you really love the pool, Mike. You will be at the pool all summer long. But the pool it is nice because I feel like you can relax, you can take it easy, but swimming is a great form of exercise. I mean, even if you're not doing tons of laps, just being in the water, you kind of feel like you're working out or getting some exercise in. So it makes me feel better about myself a little bit when I'm like, oh, I've done something. But just spending time at the pool, I think with friends is good too. And there's something about the summer where it's easy to like spend half a day or a full day kind of at the pool, just taking it easy, kind of socializing, recharging. And at least I'm now in the phase of life or the season of life where our kids are starting to get a little bit older, where we don't necessarily have to be like next to them the entire time that we're at the pool. So as parents know, when your kids are really small, you have to like be attached to them at the pool because you don't want them to go into the water if they don't know how to swim or just want to make sure they're being safe. But luckily, both of our kids now can swim independently. They feel comfortable around the pool. So it's kind of this like nice sweet spot where like we can spend time together. And obviously my wife and I always know where they are and we have an eye on them, but like we can also have some of our own space to hang out with friends or just take it easy. So I feel like it is that nice summer sweet spot of pool season and kind of socializing, which I'm very excited for. How about you, Mike? I know you're a big pool person. What are you looking forward to?
It's just I can taste it. It's just they've seen all of the emails coming in right now. Pools opening in a week and a half. So I was like, yes, I'm going to sound like a broken record. But yes, I love the summer. Summer
Yeah.
is my happy time. I want to be outside as much as possible. I especially love staying active outside with friends and family. Um, I do have my limits. I'm not going fucking camping.
Oh, I thought you said the pool. I'm like, what limits do you have the pool other than
No,
no
no,
kids?
yeah.
Maybe. Oh,
Oh my god. Well, you know that I do
I,
do go to a pool with no kids.
that's true. But no
You know,
camping either. So no kids at the
no, I
pool and
know.
no
Who the fuck wants
camping.
to go camping? I mean, I'm too old for that shit at this point. I mean, some of my friends want to go hang out by the river that goes through our city during the summer months. I'm not fucking doing that. That river is nasty as fuck. I'm not
Gross,
doing
yeah.
it. It's nasty as hell. I will hang out by the pool. And I will tell you that a lot of times I'm not alone. Last summer, I was on this text chain. Some guy was like, hey, we should all go to the river, hang out. Then I got on another text chain and people were like, no, fuck that. Let's go to the pool. So I know I'm not alone. We
You're
went
at
to
the
the pool.
pool. Yeah.
You know where I ended up. I was at the pool.
Mhm.
It was wonderful.
Hey, as long as you know what you like, you just stick with that.
So the second thing that midlifers want to do is home and organization. Midlifers seem to have home decor. But midlifers seem to have abandoned the typical spring cleaning schedule for summer cleaning instead. Midlifers want to clean up their house, donate old items, fix their yards, plant new flower beds, and create new cozy spaces for their homes. In fact, there are consultants out there that actually specialize in helping midlifers with just this, which blows my mind. People have too much money.
Really? Wow. Yeah.
It's insane. Not that we need to get into it at all. Yeah. But according to Home and Garden and a few other lifestyle publications, midlifers are the ones that have really taken charge in breaking down the boundaries between their indoor spaces and outdoor spaces. They want nature to blend seamlessly into their homes during the summer months. House Beautiful identifies this as more purposeful living for midlifers. Purposeful, that sounds fancy.
It does sound
like
fancy.
Sounds like something House Beautiful would write too. They create these spaces during the summer months that are designed not to just blend the indoors and the outdoors, but also create a bigger social gathering space for friends and family members. And most importantly, also their kids' friends, because they want their kids' friends to come over.
Yeah.
They want everybody. Midlifers just want everybody to be at their house. Sounds exhausting, but okay.
You're going to be alone at the pool. You'll be good.
Yeah, I'll be at they want their homes to be gathering spaces for everyone. So, Andrew, do you want this? Do you love this?
I do like this actually. So, I guess starting with the home as a gathering place, it's nice when in our neighborhood, our kids are some other kids that are kind of roughly all the same age, and they'll go play in different yards, and it's nice when our kids can kind of go play somewhere else. But it's also kind of fun when all the kids come over to our yard and we hear them running around and playing, and it's I don't know, it's kind of nice, and the idea of being able to have those kind of indoor outdoor spaces that people can relax in. You know, at our house we have a sunroom, which is just like all windows, and it's nice all year round. But I especially think in like the summer we can sometimes open the windows up, have like the fan going in there. It's just super cool and comfortable, and you can see into the yard, and it's really beautiful and relaxing. And I feel like we definitely get a lot of use out of that during the summer months. And we actually just make me think about a year ago did a house project where you know this, Mike, at our house we had this like janky backyard set up with this like weird semi driveway thing that we were using as a patio that was kind of a mess, but we put in an actual like nice oversized patio, and we have a couple of seating areas out there and like a table and stuff. And again, that's awesome in the summer. Like the kids can run around, adults can kind of chill and hang out, like a fire pit out there. And also like I'm all for having people over, come hang out, we'll relax, you know, sit outside and just enjoy the weather and kind of each other's company and time together. So I'm all for that. I will say one other thing real quick before I forget. You mentioned in the beginning, which I thought was kind of interesting, the idea of like spring cleaning now becoming summer cleaning. That's like a new thing. You know, as you're mentioning that, it kind of got me thinking. I don't know if we ever like thought about this, but that's kind of true in our household. And I think the reason might be because it's the end of the school year. It feels like a natural time, at least when you have kids, to kind of go through a bunch of stuff, because you sort of go through their things to see like, well, like what have you grown out of? What have you just utterly destroyed because you wore it so much? Like what are we keeping for hand-me-downs, or are we donating or throwing out or whatnot? And I feel like at least at our house, typically it's the very end of school, we go through all the kids' stuff, and if you're going through all their clothes and stuff, and our kids go to a school with a uniform, so, like, we kinda need to go through all of that, but you go through all that stuff, it's like, at that point, I'm like, "Well, we might as well just look through their toys and other crap that they have and do kind of a purge." So, that kinda makes sense to me too, that that's like a summertime is sort of a good point of the year to do it if you have kids because you're sort of at the natural ending point, as my wife calls May, Maycember, because it's like December, but in May, where you have the end of all these stuff going on. It's just like nonstop craziness. So that kind of makes sense that that might be where a lot of folks are doing that summer cleaning. But on the more fun side, I do love the having people over outside. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, it does make sense to me too. I don't know where spring cleaning really
I don't
came
know
from,
either.
but
Yeah.
it does make sense, and that way your kids can actually be involved too, because it's their mess really. So
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great point. I think getting them involved is important, like giving them some level of agency and also just like they can do it too. It's their stuff. Like,
hmm hmm hmm
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I try to do what I can in the space that I have to be more welcoming during the summer months. I definitely entertain a lot more in the summer months
Yeah.
than other points of the year. Um, but summer is definitely a time to live to its fullest. So I try to create spaces for that. If it's not necessarily in my home, I do like host people at my pool or other places like that.
Right, that's a
So
good place to do it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I know.
so
Plus, I feel I know there's something too about summer and, like, having people over because I know at least, like, I tend to, like, I grill out a lot more in the summer just because the weather's nicer. I know there's some friends that are midlifers that will grill, like, all year long. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not staying outside with, like, an umbrella in the freezing rain or whatever, like, grilling, that's just not gonna happen. But during the summer when the weather's nice, I feel like this idea of also feel like cooking outside, I don't know, it, like, draws more people over, makes it feel like it's easier to have, gatherings or host people because you can all kind of, like, do it together, so it just feels like summer is kind of the perfect time to do all of that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So the third thing that we're doing apparently as midlifers, um, is reconnection and experiences. It's a big topic, but I'm going to try my best to break this down. So the idea behind reconnection and experiences is really centered around quality time with loved ones, family members, and creating social connections. This includes family bike rides, picnics, camping trips, or even backyard barbecues. Reconnection experiences centered around the idea that you don't need a massive trip to create meaningful experiences with loved ones. They can be really simple, quote unquote, adventures that are designed to bring
Mm.
people together during the summer months, that foster an appreciation for one another and the time that we can spend with people who add value to our lives. This sounds simple, but apparently this is also one of the biggest missed opportunities for midlifers. So we're doing all this work to make our houses more welcoming, and then apparently we're not actually inviting enough people over or hosting enough of these events at our homes or wherever to for people to enjoy. They often fall behind doing these small adventures during the summer months because of schedules.
Yeah.
But so I'm curious to how our listeners feel. Do you make time to create these reconnection experiences during the summer months? What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, well, I echo that. I'd love to hear what some of our listeners or viewers do and, like, ideas of how to do these kind of smaller, what we call them, reconnection experiences or smaller, maybe, like, low-key adventures. Because it's something I struggle with, I'll be honest. Like, we have lots of great plans, but then sometimes the summer schedule, for as much as like we want to have time to relax and take it easy, it also can feel very condensed or hectic. And I know last week we talked about summer camps and kind of the cluster that they often become. And I mentioned, with our kids, it's like this weird patchwork of summer camps and visiting family, which is great, and a vacation, which is great. But it's like you put all that together and it kind of can feel overwhelming sometimes. And so you're like, have all these great ideas of, oh, we're going to do these like little trips or lots of relaxing at the pool, and then I'm just you feel overwhelmed. So I can relate to that, and I think it's something we try to work on more this summer is how do we just kind of have time where we don't have anything structured or planned and just try to be a little bit more spontaneous in what we might do. And so, is that like a day trip, like to a state park that's nearby? We spend some time there, or like do those closer in little trips, or maybe even just enjoy like what's right around us here too in our area. There are lots of great outdoor activities to do in the summertime. And so I think some of it's just trying to think through, how do we again create space, I think, to be spontaneous and not feel like we have to overschedule everything, especially in the summer. Because I feel like with kids, the school year is so regimented and it's like so scheduled out. It's really trying to make sure we have that time in the summer to kind of have space to breathe and to do some of this reconnection. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I don't know. We can check back in September and see how it went, I guess, with all of our best laid plans. But yeah, I'd love to hear from others though, like kind of how they do that, because that's definitely something I want to work on, is that idea of doing that lower key type of stuff. But what about you, Mike? Are there things you try to do to kind of have
I
those?
make I make every effort to make these types of things happen. I think spontaneity is tricky just because, um, you kind of gotta plan these things in advance, even these,
Yeah.
small reconnective experiences, because I feel like something will always come up. There will always be something that you have to get done.
Yeah.
Um, and this is just me, other people may feel differently, but if you plan it, even if you're just planning a day in advance to say, all right, we're going to go to the park and do a picnic, um, at least you've planned it and then you can mark it off on your calendar. I feel like I tend to be very attached to how my calendar operates, which is not a great thing. But if I map out these small experiences, then they actually, they work out. They work out for my schedule. So right now we are mid-May.
Yeah.
So I'm planning out different events and adventures to do with friends. These include barbecues and day trips and hosting things and some smaller things. And for me, it requires that scheduling. But I also think it's really important to make time to do those things, because mm, these kind of like the first point about recharging, these scheduled out events don't have to be stressful events. Just saying, like,
Right.
all
I can
right,
see. Yeah.
if we're gonna make this a pool day, there's nothing stressful about making it a pool day.
Yeah.
Um, but things do slow down during the summer. I know it's not everyone's experience. Work tends to slow down a little bit for us during the summer months. So I want to make sure that we can get as many of these things on the calendar to hang out with the people that add value. So
That's a good point. Yeah, and I think too the idea of spontaneity, that's a good point as well, about like it doesn't mean like spur of the moment, because I'm not great at that either. But I do think the idea of like, hey, if we see there's a day in a couple days or in a week ahead or something, like maybe thinking about what you want to do, but not like over structuring it, I guess, is maybe we try to find that balance.
you get flustered very easily.
I do, when things are just like, let's do this. I'm like, what are we doing? I need a plan as well. But I think if it's like, yeah, hey, a couple days, let's go plan to do something, at least then there feels like there's a little bit of thought ahead of it. Yeah, I'm not just going to
Hmm.
jump in the car and drive somewhere. That is not my
You
MO.
should. You
Well,
should.
I might not be able to if gas keeps getting more expensive. We might have to do lots of like local stuff.
Hmm. Hmm. That is very true.
Yeah.
All right. So the last topic, all of these have been super fun.
Yeah.
But I think the category that offers some real excitement is the last one, because it focuses on personal growth and fun. From a personal growth perspective, midlifers really want to pick up a new hobby during the summer months.
Hmm.
This can include gardening, photography, or even painting. So clearly, very relaxing hobbies. Nothing too strenuous, but relaxing.
Was knitting in
Um,
there, like the seventh graders suggested
Knitting
earlier?
was
Knitting was
not
not
in
in
there.
there.
So it was not on the list, but I'm sure there are plenty of midlifers who would love to pick up knitting
That's true. There probably are.
or crocheting or one of those other things.
Whatever. Yeah.
But midlifers also want to have fun by rekindling their youth by doing things like going to amusement parks,
Mhm.
going to outdoor concerts, hitting up water parks. A lot of these things, clearly, according to last week's episode, going to summer camps.
Yeah.
These are the things that you do as a kid, but you don't have any time to do anymore as a midlifer. So, Andrew, are you going to go amusement park jumping, or are you going to prioritize personal growth or fun this summer? What are you going to do?
I don't know about amusement parks. I mean, we may go to one. We have a couple that aren't too far from us. I got to be honest, we were talking though. I sort of like the idea of starting a new hobby during summer kind of stresses me out a little bit, especially if we were just talking about trying to like take it easy or find ways to reconnect. But I do think one thing I would like to do this summer is, I think I mentioned this before, is I have a vegetable garden, and a couple of years ago got kind of interested in growing some own food, like vegetables and herbs and things that we can then use in the meals that we're making. And so I do want to use this summer to kind of like get better at incorporating the vegetables in different types of dishes. So I think maybe I know it's a new hobby or not, but definitely try a little bit more
That's a new hobby.
experimentation on the cooking front and kind of trying to see how we can incorporate like food that we grow into our meals. That could be kind of something that I think will be fun to do and would be good. The other thing which is sort of a throwback, although I didn't do this as a kid, but the throwback part is that about a 35 minutes from where we live, there's a drive-in movie theater, and it's sort of like modeled on the old school drive-ins from like the 40s and the 50s, although this is a much newer facility. And I've been wanting to go for a couple of summers, but the kids weren't quite old enough yet to be able to like make that long of a drive and be out there they usually do double features. So for 2 movies, I think we might be in a sweet spot now where they are. So I'm kind of excited. I want to try this summer to take the family and maybe friends, if other folks want to join us, out to the drive-in theater. That feels like a fun kind of throwback summer thing to do that I think could be a way to make some fun memories.
Absolutely. That is an incredibly popular venue.
It is. It's packed. Yeah. You got to plan for that one. You can't just show up. What about you, Mike? What are are you going to take up a new hobby or do some fun stuff this summer?
So I can't say that amusement or water parks are at the top of my list. That's not a no, but they're not at the top of my list. I did those things as a kid, but I can't say that they were like some huge highlight in growing up. There are things like putt-putt / miniature golf, which are a staple of summer that I love. Definitely open to doing that. The personal growth or picking up a hobby is something I'm interested in exploring, especially if I think about a hobby kind of like one of those that was listed below. It's not strenuous. I mean, if you pick up painting, it doesn't have to be a good painting. The point
be abstract.
Yeah. The point is to just try to learn as you're going through the process. So I'd have to think on it. I'll report back to you when I figure out what I might do.
What you're gonna do?
I honestly don't know.
We'll need like a recap episode in a couple months to see if we like followed through on any of this stuff.
Well, I was thinking about that because in September we'll mark 1 year. So we'll have to do like a big long recap celebration episode. But I'm curious as to what our listeners think. So I mean, are you gonna really prioritize the fun part? Are you gonna prioritize the personal growth part? Are you gonna try to do both? Are you gonna go to the amusement parks and the water parks, or paint a landscape picture? I want to hear what you
or just
all
relax
are
by the
going to
pool
do.
maybe the whole time. I don't know. That's fine too.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that idea. All right. So we've already blown through 30 minutes. If you're not done so already, please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us out a lot. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartMedia, and all your favorite podcasting platforms. And until next week, good luck, guys.
See ya.